Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, I am delving into Netflix in hopes of finding another good movie. And tonight's film has a really awesome fucking title. The movie came out this year. The title is Nazis at the Center of the Earth. I love that fucking title. It is one of those titles, similar to Hobo with a Shotgun. It just tells you everything what you have to know about the film. It has Nazis, and they apparently were at the center of the earth. Awesome! Now, good news is, the movie has a really badass title. The bad news, it's from the Asylum. I understand it's been over a year since I've covered a film from this fucking studio, but God damn it, I have been dreading the very thought of covering another fucking Asylum film. So far, this one has piqued my interest simply because the title is awesome. So, I'm hoping that the Asylum is able to do something that they've never done before. And that's make a quality movie. One that I can watch and say, holy fuck, this actually is good. And all I have to pray on is because it has a cool title. So, yeah, I have this weird feeling that by the time all is said and done, I'm probably going to be incredibly disappointed with this, but I still have hope. I have hope that the fucking Asylum can at least churn out something watchable. After all, they were able to make Death Racers, and that was almost watchable, so shit, anything's possible. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Nazis at the Center of the Earth. Okay, I really was not expecting him to rip off his face. I just thought he was going to rip off his fucking scalp. Well then, that was certainly cool, and the effects were pretty good. Wow. I mean, they were really good. I'm almost kind of floored. Okay. I'm going to have to look that up. According to this movie, Antarctica was occupied by Nazi Germany during World War II. For some reason, in the back of my mind, I feel the need to call bullshit on that, but hell, they could actually be fucking right. I doubt it, but they might be right. Alright guys, I kind of sort of feel like spoiling this for you, for anyone who's dumb enough to watch this thing. You see, any character with blonde hair, they are going to join the Nazis. It seems ultimately stupid, but hey, at least the filmmakers decided to make sure that it was only, true Aryans who were joining the fucking Nazis in this film. So, hell, that's something. Oh, and yay, now a bunch of rotting Nazis are going to gang fucking rape one of the women. Hooray. So the Nazis are doing their own form of stem cell research. As someone who's for stem cell research, I'm a little bit offended by this, but then again, maybe that's just because it just seems so out of place in this fucking movie, you know what I mean? Wow! An abortion scene! I never fucking thought I would see a goddamn abortion scene in this fucking movie. Jesus Christ, that's kinda dark. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god! It's Robot Hitler! Holy shit, dude! That's kinda cool! Alright, I totally understand that this is going to be a really stupid question, especially considering that we have a movie which has Robot Hitler commanding a Nazi flying saucer, but goddammit, I'm going to ask, where did these Nazis get the fucking laser guns? I'm really kind of curious, because they were able to kind of sort of explain Robot Hitler. No, wait, they didn't even bother with fucking Robot Hitler or the Nazi flying saucer. But I want to know, because the laser guns look almost like standard issue pistols. I kind of want to know when the fuck they were able to, turn them into like sci-fi-esque laser guns. I'm really kind of curious. Well, folks, that was Nazis at the Center of the Earth. This band almost sounds like Nickelback. That makes this even more fucking depressing. Partially because I'm kind of a Nickelback fan. I'm gonna shut that shit off. Mind you, I said it sounds kind of like Nickelback. I know for a fact it is, and it just has that kind of sound almost. Anyway, let's talk about the movie, shall we? First of all, I mentioned earlier that yes, this film is from the Asylum. My standards were set way low. I'm talking this bar was set so fucking low it was almost on the goddamn ground. So it did clear my expectations, but that's not saying much. Because, you see, we had a story, really awesome story, and if put in the hands of a competent studio, it might have been an amazing movie. However, that awesome story is completely hobbled by flat, lifeless characters, horrible fucking special effects, which would have looked shitty on the PlayStation 2. Yeah, guys, this thing has CG that makes even the shittiest looking PlayStation 2 launch title look absolutely amazing. Let's see. So we have horrible effects, flat fucking writing, horrible acting. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, anytime you have a film and your best actor is Jake Busey, you have a fucking problem, okay? So, if this thing were given to better writers, if it had better effects, if it had a better cast, it might have been good. It might have been an amazing movie. However, what stands here is something that is almost watchable. However, no, wait, I'm not going to get into recommendations yet. I really should get into more detail on this. Why don't we start with the writing? As I stated, the story itself is really cool. I mean, because, guys, the only things I have to say are Robot Hitler and Nazi flying saucer, and most of you are probably already on board. However, the problem is with the writing that our characters are ridiculously flat and lifeless, and the dialogue sucks. So really, the only things you have going are the fucking expectations of Robot Hitler and the expectation of the Nazi flying saucer. So really, that pretty much means that your dialogue sucks, your pacing is a little bit off. By the way, earlier I mentioned that they say in this film that at one point, Nazi Germany occupied a small bit of Antarctica. I was doing some research while the movie was going. They did, in fact, control a small portion of Antarctica in 1939, which means that the Asylum actually did fucking research for one of their movies. I am almost frightened by that. Also, while I'm on writing, as I mentioned earlier, they also essentially Godwined stem cell research by showing that the Nazis used stem cell research. How? Because they want to use the stem cells in order to reanimate Hitler's head on a robot body. So effectively, the film is trying to demonize stem cell research in like the most heavy-handed way it possibly could. So if you're one of those people who really cannot stand politics getting in the way of your film, that's going to bother you if you're for stem cell research. Because I mentioned earlier that I am kind of for that, and I was just a little bit offended. However, I also knew that it was a stupid, cheesy film, so I didn't let it get to me too much. It's just the fact that they, came out and they directly said stem cells instead of just trying to, tiptoe around it because, well, stem cell research even today is still kind of a hot-button issue with some people. So they went out of their way to Godwin something as, life-saving and cool as stem cell research, as well as saying that Nazis helped perfect medical treatment of things such as hypothermia, which may or may not be true. I don't know. I don't care. This movie almost seemed to go out of its way to not only demonize stem cell research because Nazis used it, but also try to praise the Nazis because of Mengele's experiments on the Jews in the camps by freezing their bodies to give us ways to treat hypothermia. I totally understand it sounds really stupid, but just please, this movie is giving me this sort of bullshit to work with, so I have to mention it. So yeah, writing, it is a fucking awesome story hobbled by shitty writing. The acting, I mentioned earlier, the best actor in the entire film is Jake Busey. Those of you who don't know who Jake Busey is, he is Gary Busey's son. The best role he ever, his best performance was in fucking Starship Troopers, and the only thing most people fucking remember about him in Starship Troopers is that he was forced to play an ugly, glowing green fiddle. I'm not kidding you. That is Jake Busey. He is the best thing this movie has going in terms of acting. Almost everybody else is turning in a wooden, lifeless showing, which kind of sort of makes the writing stand out and kind of sort of shows how bad the writing is. So, excuse me. So we have that going. We have god-awful acting. Special effects, which I already knew that the special effects were going to be bad. Why? Because it's from the Asylum, and the Asylum cannot do good effects. However, this shit is almost down to Transmorphers levels of bad effects. So that is really not good. It doesn't help that we have characters such as Robot Hitler, where three quarters of the time the whole thing is fucking CG. And then other times it's close-ups of Hitler's head, which, by the way, Hitler's head is in a jar, Futurama style, which I thought was sort of cute. So we have a physical actor during any fucking close-ups of the head in the fucking jar, but it doesn't match any of the wide shots where it's Robot Hitler in full CG form. We also have CG planes, which look horrible, which also have CG pilots. They couldn't even be asked to get actors to sit in a fucking cockpit set wearing a goddamn helmet. They had to do that shit in CG. That just seemed kind of sad. In fact, there is so much CG in this movie that makes me kind of wonder why the fuck they didn't just make it a full-on CG flick. I mean, that might have helped lessen the blow of the shitty effects, because then everything would have fucking looked, like that instead of only about half of the movie. So, yeah, effects I already knew were going to be shit going in. Music was okay, and the sound and the fucking sound mix was good. However, mixing sound is like one of the only things which the fucking Asylum knows how to do well. So I can't even grant them points for that. The music, well, you barely even notice the fucking music, so that's, not even a fucking issue. Cinematography is a little bit, jerky and kind of weird. I don't know what the fuck they were going for, but a lot of scenes almost look like they were shot with a handheld camera. What's funny is that most of those really jerky shots are shots that are all CG, which means that they purposely put the shake in there. There also was at least a few instances of the fakest looking lens flares in the history of film coming off of the headlamps of some of our scientists when they're going into the shaft. So, yeah, they went out of their way to add really fake, ugly looking lens flares over the headlamps, which looks absolutely abysmal. I'm going to tell you guys, you would think that after all of this, dumping on this thing for this fucking long, you would think I'd say no human being should ever watch it. No, actually, I would highly recommend this if you're watching it in groups, and you and your friends love to riff on shitty movies. You will adore this thing. This movie is a gold mine. If Mystery Science Theater were still on TV today, this thing would have made for a perfect episode. In fact, I'm kind of hoping for there to be a Riff Tracks version of this thing at some point. I will happily watch that. In fact, that's probably the only way you could get me to watch this thing again alone is with the Riff Tracks commentary. So, yeah, guys, if you have nobody to watch this movie with, don't bother. However, if you are able to get a friend or two, or maybe even 5 or 6, it all depends on exactly how many friends you like to watch bad movies with, then by all means, guys, gather around, fire up whatever fucking device you watch Netflix on, be it your 360, your Blu-ray player, your PS3, your laptop, whatever, and watch this. Because you know what? If you have a Netflix account, why not? It honestly is not going to cost you any fucking more than your $7 a month anyway. Just fuck it and watch it, you know. After all, I did, and well, I was kind of sort of entertained, but I was not entertained enough to want to watch it a second time, shy of a Riff Tracks commentary. So yeah, that really is the closest thing I can give this movie to a fucking recommendation is watch it with friends. Do not fucking watch it, you know, alone. You are guaranteed to suffer. So, with that, folks, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.